The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to my virtual campfire, where today I want to talk about the final walkthrough on RVs. You know, the very last thing you do before you hitch up and leave the dealership. And we'll talk about it with one of my go-to resources in the RV industry. His name is Zach Rininger. Zach is a regular guest here on the show, and he's one of the good guys in the RV industry, and it's because I think he genuinely cares. And he works every single day to educate consumers and work with dealers to improve the RV ownership experience. Up now is a part of my recent visit with Zach, where we talk about everything from how to do a proper walkthrough of your new RV to the importance of you and I becoming better customers. What advice would you give me in terms of the final walkthrough and the, learning how everything works, and what should I do? How long should it take? What do's and don'ts?
Yeah, I mean, as far as some questions are hard to answer because it's like everybody's different, right? And so I never want to sound like I'm not answering a question, but a walkthrough for me is probably going to need to be a lot shorter than a walkthrough for someone that's never done it before. And so just qualifying with that, it's hard to just say, hey, it should be an hour and a half. It depends. I think that it's completely fair to ask that person that's giving the walkthrough, can I film some of this? I'd love to be able to record this so that I have a record that I can go back and be like, oh, that's how they did this. I think you should not be afraid to say, tell me more. I think a lot of people don't want to seem like they're dumb or don't know how to use it or whatever it might be. They don't want to ask too many questions because they don't want to be a bother. But it's like, guys, if you've never used one before and you don't know how to flip from gas water heater to the electric and what's what and why this needs to be hooked up first and that, ask more questions. Don't be afraid. That's what your time there is for. Do not brush over, because you're going to get to that campsite and you're going to be like, wait a second, what did they say to do about this? And
what about taking your family with you to go pick it up? I know that's an exciting time, but I say don't do it. Mama and daddy maybe, and find a babysitter and take a legal pad. Like you said, if you can videotape it and you guys are there. This is like RV 101. You're trying to learn everything.
Yeah, if you could go there it's such a tough balancing act, right? Because the kids are so excited and they want to go. But if you can go there and truly be present and paying attention, and if the kids are going to be a distraction for you to really understand what's going on, totally. And even if that's as simple as, instead of a babysitter, it's iPads and you throw them in the corner or something like that. You need to keep them occupied for a while so you can pay attention, because it is different. There's so many little things that are just different than a house. Similar concept, different application. And I've told customers for years, and somewhat jokingly, but it's true, is I think your two best friends once you buy an RV are going to be a toolbox and YouTube. And to this day, I still use both. There are times I'm camping. I've been doing this for 2 decades. And there are times I'm camping, I'm like, hang on a second, what am I'm forgetting something here, and I'll jump on YouTube, and I'm like, that's what it was. I knew it's that one latch right here that I was forgetting. So I think that there's a lot of tools out there, but you're getting a great one in a walkthrough. And again, that goes back to the dealer though too. Some dealers don't give great walkthroughs. Some give fantastic walkthroughs. There's plenty of resources out there that are great on the internet that you can learn more stuff. But it also comes back to the more you use it, the more you're going to learn too. Go use that thing. That's how you're going to learn a lot of stuff.
What kind of things can I do to make me a better liked customer? Seriously, what kinds of things can I don't want to, pound them. I don't want, price is the only thing that matters. I can't be a doormat and just, okay, I'll take everything. I want to have the respect of a dealer. I guess one of the things is show your gratitude by giving them a good review, an honest, favorable review, because people read those things. What can I do where when I go back to the dealer, they go, hey, how you doing? Instead of, oh my God, it's that guy.
Yeah, I think, give them a good review if they earned it. I don't think anybody should just blanket get things because they don't earn it, right? I think a lot of the things that our grandmothers taught us apply. Kind of the golden rule, treat others like the way you want to be treated. Just be nice, be kind, be patient, be understanding. And I think that starting there, and also understand that dealer is not there. They're not trying to screw you. They don't stay in business by screwing all their customers. They don't have a good reputation by, just screwing everybody. And there's a lot of people out there that think, oh, these dealers. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that most dealers actually want to help because happy customers are good customers, and happy customers tell other people, and happy customers don't clog up everything else in the dealership complaining and yelling at everybody because they're happy. And so I think going in just like not being too like, oh, I'm ready for a battle, and like going in and just remembering why you're going there. You're going there to have fun. You're going there to go have some adventure. You need to make good choices, and you need to don't overspend your budget. Don't, you need to know what you're going in to accomplish. And then I think you just kind of be a little bit honest and be like, here's what I want to do. Here's the range I'd like to be in. Here's what we're looking to do. Here's what I am going to tow with. And then you try and find somebody that's actually going to try and help you. And I think that right there, and just be gracious. Like it's in Texas. Hell, it's going to be 180 in here today. So when you go into that dealership, and if that salesperson maybe seems like they're just like, oh God, you want to go look at a bunch of units. Maybe it's because they've spent the last month spending 7 hours a day going out there showing units to people when it's 108 degrees, and they're just a little fried. So maybe like just try to understand where they're coming from, of what are they going through, and like it's because it's hard. Like that's not easy. It going out in that heat and doing that. And so some people I could see maybe get frustrated. Well, they don't want to show me more or whatever. It's like, well, maybe I've been out in the heat for 4.5 hours already today, and they want to come inside for a little bit and get some water. So there's, I think, just trying to be aware of what's going on in the situation, and how to just be a good person. Everybody understands.
And being situationally aware and thoughtful of the other person. I see a lot of people that say they're interested in RVs. They want to buy an RV. But I wonder if they really do, Zach, because they watch all the videos and they go to the shows and they look around and then they never buy one. And they take everybody's time. And I'm not trying to be ugly, but it's like, are you going to, or get off the pot? I mean, at some point, buyers, you said it earlier, customers need to be better customers. Dealers need to be better dealers and meet somewhere in the middle. You can't be a time vampire and expect a dealer to just continually give you forever. I mean, they've got to go and make a living.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because you will see, you'll have the same customers that I will see every year at certain shows. They always come. They've never bought. Who knows if they will?
But they think they are.
Depends on how they. Well, it depends. Like, are they trying to chew up everybody's time, or are they're just excited to be there and they just want to see everything new? Like, those people, I love those people, because they'll tell you straight up, like, we just come every year. We love seeing what's new. This is just fun. Cool. Let me know if you have questions. You have the flip side of that, is the person that just wants to waste everybody's time and like go through it all, and like that's not fair in my opinion to a dealership or a salesperson, where their time is based on who they spend it with to buy. There's also times where you've worked that customer for 3 years and they finally come in and buy. And then not only do they buy, but they tell every single person at every single campground they go to that, hey, Alan worked with me for 3 years. He was always gave me time. He was always kind to me. He always understood. 3 years. If you ever need to buy one, you go see him. And so it's so interesting of like, you never want to judge because you just don't know. But you also have to, especially in a show environment, you really have to be protective of your time as a salesperson. Because if you get bogged down with somebody and you don't ask all the right questions, and 3.5 hours later, you realize, oh, they're 4 years out from buying, and I forgot to ask that. Oh, you just walked past hundreds of people that you could have helped that maybe were buyers. Now, at the lot, a little bit different sometimes because you got a little more time on your hands. Like, so there's different scenarios in different places. But I think it goes back to also like being a good customer. If you're being upfront with that, if your time frame is 2 years from now and you're just here trying to figure it out and see, I think it's completely fair to share that and just be like, I don't want to take up a ton of time, but like, I do have questions because I am curious, and do you mind if like, hey, we go look and then I come back and just ask you some things because I'm just trying to learn? Like, that's totally fair, and people want to help you. It's when you drag them through the mud and outside in 108 degrees for 3 hours, and you're like, well, we're not, like, we're going to retire in 6 years, and so, but it's like, guys, like, none of this is going to be the same at that time.
As I re-listened to what Zach was saying, so much of it is just plain old common sense, right? I mean, you want an RV because you want to have fun. But part of being a happy camper is having realistic expectations, like realizing when you're a newbie or a first-time RVer, you're going to be presented with many new situations where the info that you learned in your final walkthrough will become super important, as will be the relationship you have with your RV dealer. If you leave the dealership with them thinking that you are a jerk, not good. Nobody wants to have a jerk as a customer. But what do you think? Any observations? Any comments? Let me know in the comments section below. One other thing to mention here. If you own an RV, I hope you'll get out there and use it. Like Zach said, go and use it. It doesn't have to be at an expensive campground. Too many folks have an RV that just sits somewhere in storage. If you have grandkids or little ones, even a camp out in your driveway can be a blast, and it just might keep them off their cell phones a little bit longer. I want to close with this. Our country may be divided. I know it's divided politically, but when it comes to RVers, I want to believe that we can look past our differences. And we do that when we try and see the world through other people's eyes. Relationships improve, and so do our attitudes. Thanks to Zach Rininger for visiting with us today. He's a good guy. I recommend you check out his YouTube channel. I've got a link to his channel in the description below. Now, his channel is not simply about RVs. It's not. It's kind of like a young man's version of Wingman Wisdom. At least that's the way I see it. Thanks for watching today. I'll see you again soon.